Hi everyone. In this third explanation video, I will show you how to use positive and negative numbers to solve problems using brackets, indices, and roots. The key words here are directed numbers, which basically implies whether it's a positive or a negative number, brackets, which indicates multiplication, an indice, which is a power, and finally a root, which is that sign. Right, so if we see brackets in directed numbers, we should always remember that it basically implies a multiplication. If then, for example, we have -2 plus and a -2, but in brackets, we should remember that that bracket should be multiplied with the positive on the outside of this bracket. So we will then have -2, a positive times a negative gives me a negative, 2, because there's an imaginary 1, so 1 times 2 is 2, and then -2 minus 2 is equal to -4. So whenever you see a bracket inside a positive and negative directed numbers addition or subtraction, remember that the bracket needs to be multiplied or removed first before you can actually solve it. When we work with indices or the powers of something, the brackets play a really important role. For example, if we have 3 squared, it simply means 9. But if I have a -3 squared, it is going to be a -9. However, if the -3 is in brackets and the power is on the outside, it means that this indice is also applicable to that negative number, which means the bracket needs to be multiplied with itself 2 times, which then would say negative times a negative gives me a positive, and a 3 times a 3 gives me a 9. So make very sure of whether there is a bracket or no bracket when we work with indices or powers. The same applies for the root. If I have a root 6 and there's a bracket on the outside and a square. Now, since a square and a square root are inverse or opposite operations of one another, they simply cancel one another out, and the answer is simply 6. However, if the bracket or the root is like this, and there's an indice inside the root and no bracket, it means that the answer is 36, and the square root of 36 is 6. In this instance, the answer would be exactly the same. Right.